Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director Kraninger. Like several members of this committee, I spent my youth in the military. I commanded paratroopers at Fort Bragg, and I saw on a daily basis soldiers being victimized by predatory lenders. Not surprising. They weren't from around there. They were transients. Most of them were 18, 19, 20 years old, not a lot of financial sophistication, and they needed to be helped. And I felt sort of useless, really, because all I could do was inform the lender that what they're doing was wrong or illegal, but I had no authority. So when I got here, I was very active in trying to fix that problem, because it wasn't theoretical to me, it was real. So I was active in passing the Military Lending Act along with my colleagues, particularly active in creating the Office of Service Members Affairs in your organization. That was an amendment that former Senator Scott Brown of Massachusetts and I passed, because we wanted to give, in your organization, special emphasis. In fact, I think it's the only subset that's dedicated to a specific group of individual Americans. And I am frankly appalled that you have decided that it is not within your supervisory responsibilities to cover the MLA. You do have enforcement responsibilities, which you admit, but supervision is the key to preventing enforcement. We learned that in Dodd-Frank. If we had been supervising these financial institutions and these non-bank banks and all the other bad actors of 2008, 2009, we wouldn't have the crisis and the corruption that we witnessed. So did anyone from the Office of Service Members Affairs comment about your decision to exclude the MLA? Did you seek comments, and were there any objections raised?
Senator, there was certainly a robust discussion at the times in the history of the Bureau where this conversation was had. I can tell you that the determination is mine, and that's what Congress gave me as director the authority and responsibility to do.
Well, thank you. I think you've made the wrong determination. In fact, I think your legal counsel feels you've made the wrong determination. Let me get to that later. But when this decision was made, we asked the Department of Defense, who has a vested interest in protecting the men and women of the military. Their comments to us on a letter of September 7, 2018, that the department believes that the full spectrum of tools, including supervisory examinations, contribute to effective industry education about and compliance with the MLA. I think that's right. And they certainly have a vested interest in this, and it's not a partisan political interest. It's the protection of the men and women who protect us. Now, every organization, veterans organization of note, has indicated the same feeling. Now, your view is that you can't do it, but your own legal analysis that you submitted to us in your letter states, quote, "One possible reading of the statute would allow that the Bureau may seek to uncover and remedy violations of the MLA in the course of exercising its authorities." So you do have the legal authority to do it. You've chosen to read the statute to protect payday lenders, even though your own legal counsel said the statute can be read, as the Department of Defense, and as many of my colleagues feel, is to protect the men and women of the armed forces. Is that right?
Yeah, Senator, I agree with the Department of Defense that I would like the full panoply of
You have the
authorities.
full panoply. That's exactly what your counsel said. One possible reading of the statute, this is your legal counsel, not me, would allow the Bureau may seek to uncover and remedy violations of MLA in the course of exercising its authorities. That would be including your supervisory authorities. Mm-hmm. You chose not to read that section. You sort of admitted it.
I have, Senator, and the reason for that is that then the Bureau could be engaged in examinations for safety and soundness. The Bureau could be engaged in examinations for tax law and other criminal law.
No.
The encompassing provision there is about any risk to consumers.
That's the fallacy. If you follow the law, you can make up things. That's not true. There's no one here asking you to examine, generally speaking, safety and soundness of payday lenders. What we're saying is we passed the Military Lending Act. We passed supplementary language giving you the clarity to do this in Dodd-Frank so that you would protect consumers. And you're not doing it, and particularly military consumers. And what is so frustrating to me is that if this is a policy of your administration, I don't know how on Memorial Day and Veterans Day everyone stands up and says, "What great America! Oh, we have to do all we can for the servicemen and women in this country. They do so much for us." And you've decided you shouldn't supervise these companies. And we know supervision prevents the need for enforcement. That's one of the great lessons of Dodd-Frank. Had we been supervising these institutions, we wouldn't have had the collapse we had. So I can't say how profoundly distressed I am with your rejection of the opportunity to protect the soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen and Coast Guardsmen in the United States. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Kennedy.